Hey, it's Claudia with Y100.7 here with Shan Scott from season 28 of The Voice. Shan grew up outside West Point in New York. My husband's from Queens, so yay to New York. she grew her love for and passion for music after the loss of her best friend, and now she is part of Team Reba on The Voice. She's turning her pain into power. And it's just the resilience is the part where I'm like, yes, girl, let's connect. How you been? How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. This is so crazy. Thank you for having me on. It's just wild. I'm great. I'm like kind of floating, you know?
Yes, but I love to hear that because it your journey hasn't been easy and it's been kind of unique because your dad is a police officer, your mom is a basketball coach. How did this turn into music? Because to me, the math isn't math in there.
I know it's wild. My dad was a police officer growing up. My mom was a basketball coach. They all wore a bunch of different hats. Um, Music just kind of became my escape. It became my personal way to get through the crazy roller coaster that we call life. You know, when
Yeah.
my dad played guitar and he taught himself when he was enlisted in the military way back when. And I was like, I want to do that too. So that's kind of where it all started. And then just going through what I did when I was younger, music became my little outlet.
But that's lovely to hear because sometimes we don't really necessarily have to 1,000% follow what our parents are doing. We could just use something, a smidgen of what they enjoy doing or one of their hobbies to make our careers or something grow on our side. You mentioned that songwriting became a way for you to process the grief of losing your best friend. What does that emotional honesty show up in your music, and how do you make it like that raw beautifulness and connecting with it?
I think it really comes back to remembering that these people that we have lost, whether, it was 20 years ago, which I can attest, or it was 2 weeks ago, that these people and these experiences are always with us. And I think being able to channel that and remember that I'm carrying all these little things with me,
Yeah.
I think that is what keeps it raw and it keeps it honest, it keeps it relatable.
That's really lovely to hear because you see big artists like a Sabrina Taylor, a Tate, just kind of showing what they go through, and this is just a way and an avenue for them to share that. What
Absolutely.
is your goal in, like, a big picture like this? Like a Taylor that just put out her album, and she's
Yes.
talking about all her feelings. How
Yes.
does how do we connect, or how do we take, like, little smidgens from these big artists to make it your own?
I love learning from these artists that are, at this higher level already.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because every single one has their own way of portraying not only themselves but their story. And one thing they all have in common is kind of this dancing through it thing too. I really love that. Like Tate, Sabrina, Taylor, the three that you named, I think of them and I think like powerhouse. I think strong. I think, you know, they're so radiant. And they are so honest. They're so unapologetically themselves. So
Yeah.
I think that alone is so inspiring to me to see people keep being themselves. Right, as an artist you can go one way, you don't have to keep being yourself, you can be thrown in these hoops, but to see these women
Yeah.
specifically doing that, that's cool.
It's cool. Hashtag goals.
Yeah. Hashtag yes.
You moved to Nashville when you were 18. I mean, first of all, that takes guts because 'cause you're just moving out of your house, let alone just, like, down the street, let alone to a whole other state and very far from home. What's the biggest challenge you faced when you first got there, and, like, how did you push through that? Because as musicians, that's one of the big decisions you have to do, move to LA, move to Nashville, to New York from, and you were from
Right.
New York, but,
Right.
it's a difficult decision.
Oh goodness, it's so wild to think back on. I was 18, I graduated high school. That quick tiny little backstory. And I bought a 2001 Monte Carlo with like my graduation money. I
Mhm.
had maybe 2 grand. I was a waitress and like whatever else. I'm gonna buy a car, so I bought the car. Was supposed to play college basketball, and then took the said car, packed it with my little bit of stuff, and moved down here. It was very. I pulled up with a new car, and my mom was like, "Whose car is that?" And I was like, "It's mine." She's like, "Where you heading?" I'm like, "I'm moving to Nashville." When? Tomorrow.
Oh gosh.
And it's like one of my favorite stories. To look back, the biggest challenge, there were so many. If I had to pinpoint one, let me think. I mean, I was 18 years old. I lived on a couch full of
Yeah.
like Broadway musician dudes. Biggest challenge, I think it was remembering to be myself. That sounds crazy
Yeah.
to think about, but I was jumping through all these other hoops, I guess, again. I was
Yeah.
jumping through all these things. And to come back home to myself, I think that was it. That was
Yeah.
the hardest part for me, is
Yeah.
forgetting who I was for a long time.
Yeah, and at such a young age too, because you're like, I'm free and I'm discovering all these things, and now you're like, oh, but I also need to know where, like who my parents raised and where do I
Yeah,
want to go, because it's not just like the yay, I'm free in the present. It's like, what am I doing with my life now?
right,
Because it's now I'm in charge of it, like for real, for real.
right. And I'm free, and I'm broke, and like all these things, and then you move away at 18, and you're like, wait a minute, this is what being an adult is really, really like. And I grew up really fast,
Yeah,
given life circumstances. At the same time, when you're 18, you throw yourself into this bigger pond.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's all good. Your songs, I love the fact that you make us like an alt pop and rock with a lot of heart and soul to it. Who are those artists that inspire your sound?
Carole King is one of my favorite artists and songwriters of all time. She's
Mhm.
up there. You got people like Miley Cyrus. You have people like Stevie Nicks. My guitar playing comes back more to like Santana.
Yeah.
I love Jimi Hendrix, Santana, all of those kind of bluesy, soulful. The Revivalists, one of my biggest inspirations as a band as well. And yeah, all these little styles match together. I listen to every kind of music from J. Cole to Santana. So
So
I kind of draw little things from each.
you're like that Jelly Roll playlist where he just sang from like Green Day to Miley Cyrus to
Yes.
like everything. Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned the revivalist. You sang "Wish I Knew You" for your blind audition, which I'm watching this, right? And I'm like, anybody gonna turn? Anybody gonna turn? Anybody like, hello? And then Reba just goes "Ting,"
Uh,
last second. How were you feeling in that moment? Like, anybody gonna turn?
what's wild to me was being on the stage, practicing presence, right? This active presence through my adult life, and
Yeah.
really being in the moment, not blacking out up there. I was almost painfully present. And I remember being up there, and I was like, maybe I had this 5-second conversation with myself. I was
Yeah.
like, maybe you're just not what they're looking for this season, but you did this thing, and that is so rad. Point 0.5 seconds later, my brain's like, girl, what? Land the plane. And I will never forget that thought going through my head. It was, land the plane. You came here. You know what you're capable. You're aware of what you bring to the table as an artist. And I did this dramatic little like rock star hair flip, right? And then I came back up, and I didn't see it until my head came back up. So when you see my reaction going, that is me being genuinely in shock. Thinking about it literally makes me still shake.
Shake.
Wild experience.
Well, it's lovely to hear like the other side, right? Because it's what we see and the conversation you guys have. But like having this piece of like intel is really cool to see like what you guys think when you're singing. Because let me remember the lyrics, let me interact with the audience, let
Right.
me also show all my skills and my range from top to bottom, how raspy I can get. And it's like all of this within like a minute ish. Like,
Right. 90 seconds for you to be like, hey, do you see me? Do you feel me, bro? Yeah. I remember one of my buddies was like, win the crowd, you win the coach. And that's what I did. I went back to the crowd. It was not
Yeah.
planned at the very end. I just went back to the crowd and was like, we got this.
You help me, I help you. We got
Yes.
it, let's do this.
So shout out to the crowd. Thank you.
Of
Thank you.
course. And what do we plan on seeing in the next few, like a little inspiration or where we're tapping for the battle rounds?
Ooh, gosh, I'm so excited for battle. Um, People can get ready for. I kind of didn't show everything I can do. I feel like in my
Oh,
blind, which is really fun. So it's another step and another layer of not only who I am as a person, which I'm
yeah.
really excited to share more about, but also the delivery as an artist and right the type of thing
Yes.
that this is going to show people.
Yeah. And what you can show Reba that, like, hey, now you put me in, coach.
Exactly. Like, hi, you believed in me, and this is why.
Love that. Let's do some rapid fire, Shan, okay?
First
The first song you ever learned.
song I ever learned. This is gonna sound crazy. I think it might have been like "Sweet Home Alabama" or something
Oh.
crazy simple, like dun, 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 dun. How played that song so many times when I first moved to Nashville. But I think I think that was it. I'm trying to really go back. Oh, and like the slight intro to Freebird. I do not know the solo, so nobody ask. Please do not ask. But
Okay. So
the
let's just go with
intro.
Sweet Home Alabama. The dream artist you wanna collab with.
Oh goodness. Dream artist that I want to collab with
Mhm.
today.
Today, tomorrow could be another one. It's
This
fine.
is huge. I haven't thought about this in so long. This makes me excited to answer. Okay, give me like 9 seconds, everybody. Dramatic countdown starts now.
In 5, 4, 3, 2,
If we're
1.
going mainstream, worlds collide with me, probably like Dua Lipa. Does that sound insane? I
Oh,
would love a power female duet of sorts with her.
yeah. But she has that vibe though, like,
Fur
"Yes, girl,
coat.
let's go, let's collab."
She's also always in her fur coat. So I think she's onto something.
And lastly, Shed, what's your pre-performance ritual? Do you have, like, a snack, a little saying you say to yourself, anything?
I do. This one's really special to me. Before going out on the show, I wanted to make a new ritual, a new mantra, a new pre-show thing, and it's what got me through. I think back to that moment, what went through my head right before the chair turned. And I do this thing where I do breath work. So it's either box breathing or it's longer exhales, my little yogi brain, right? It just depends on what I need that day. And I
Yeah.
envision this gold light pouring from the top, the crown of my head, all the way down my body, through my feet and into the ground to help ground me through this breath work. And I breathe and then I say, I am not here to compete, I am here to connect. And I think
Nice.
not only for a show like The Voice, but just through life, I think that's a really important thing for us to try to remember. And then I would usually say something along as like, I am already chosen, right? Like the stage is my offer, the stage is my offering. It just kind of depended what would come out my brain, but it all came back to I am here to compete or I am here to connect. So
That's a good
like I am not here to compete, I'm here to connect. Don't mind my little blah, blah,
No, you're good, you're good. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to see you in the battles and hopefully then on, and I wish you the best. Thank you so much for sitting down with us, and best of luck to you, Shan.
Oh, thank you for having me. This has been a pleasure. Lovely little morning.